What up, everybody? This is Double G for the Fight Game Podcast. We're going to do it one more time. The Road to WrestleMania, the epilogue version. We're going to recap some of the stuff that happened at the show, but more importantly, we have someone who was there live in attendance on the floor, taking pictures with Travis Browne. It is Big D.
Yes, indeed. I made a lot of high roller friends this weekend, bro. I have wined and dined with kings and queens and slept in ass and died on pork and beans.
So, from what I've seen, you had a fantastic time yesterday.
I had a great time the whole weekend, really. I mean, there were some things that went on that I didn't like, which I'm not going to get to on here, which doesn't involve anybody you know. But most of the things that went on were good, and I had a great weekend. I ate a lot, which sucks. I'm starting a new diet, but screw it. I'm in New Orleans, and the food is so damn good. You said that you had the best sandwich of your life. See, that's the thing. I'm going to tell you this, all right? When I first went to New Orleans, like in 2014 for WrestleMania 30, I was skeptical. Everyone's like, oh, the food, you know, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I live in Tampa. Tampa has really good restaurants. Florida overall has great restaurants. Miami's like a better New Orleans. Now, not before, but now. The hurricane really did a lot of damage. But anyways, and it was really that damn good, bro. I ate like a damn pig. I don't regret it.
I had nothing. Well, I was only there for 2 days. You were only there for 2 days too, but we like
2.5
missed each other.
Yeah.
I had jambalaya. I had gumbo.
Oh, me too.
I had a po' boy. It was amazing. If I lived in New Orleans, I'd be like 500 pounds.
I know, and actually, what's funny about that is I had a woman when me and Travis. I say Travis. Me and Lawrence and Mike. By the way, for those who don't know what I'm talking about, Lawrence Guy from the New England Patriots and Mike Danos from the Green Bay Packers. We went to a little restaurant there, and the woman we were talking about the food, and the woman's like, she didn't recognize us as celebrities and all that. But no, I'm kidding. But no, all joking aside, she told us, she's like, oh, you guys are from out of town? Like, yeah. She's like, yeah. And we talked about, like, man, we lived here. There's no way we could, be in any kind of shape. And she was like, yeah. The woman was like, oh, it's so good, but it's so fattening. You know what I mean? Like, because it is. It is. You know what I mean? It really is fattening.
It is. It totally is. It's all fried and hearty and thick and floury.
Oh,
it's amazing.
God. And it's salty too. Like, I had some gumbo that was freaking. It was good though, man. I had alligator. Did you get alligator?
I did not.
I didn't think I was gonna like it, and I loved it. It tastes just like regular sausage. So wait, what was the sandwich you said was the best one you ever had?
I think it was a crawfish po' boy.
That's ridiculous. So it's like lobster essentially. It tasted like lobster.
Because I was gonna get the shrimp one like you. But then I asked the waiter which the best one was, and he said that, and it was like the chewiest, most fantastic seafood meat that I've had in a po' boy.
See, the thing is, I hate crawfish, but in New Orleans, there's something about the way they make it there that's just, yeah, bro, it's the right stuff. Like it really is the right stuff, yo. The city's kind of a dump. I don't know if you noticed that. It's not my favorite city at all, but the food is the best part, definitely.
I didn't really get to hit Bourbon Street like a lot of the crew from F4W because I didn't have as much time. But from what I gather, those guys had a lot of fun. It
entirely depends on whether or not you drink. That's really what it comes down to.
Okay, so speaking of drinking, so I'll actually kick it off. I really want to get to your experience. We'll talk about your WrestleMania experience being there live. We'll talk about my experience watching. I'm sure there's some similarities and some differences, but we talk about Wale Mania, which was the first thing that I did on Thursday.
I sat about 5 people away from Wale Mania at the show, bro.
Yeah, Wale's a huge wrestling fan.
He showed up with a few other dudes, man, and they looked so familiar, but I couldn't really point out who they were.
So, you want to know the power of Wale?
He's very powerful.
He got our boy, Big Dave, to take a shot.
I heard that. I heard that. In fact, weren't you the one that told Bryan on the freaking show? Because I heard your name on the. I popped, bro, when I heard your name on the Observer Live, bro. I said, "What did he just say?" I had to rewind that shit to make sure it was really you.
Yeah, I was just throwing.
So you were hanging out with millionaires just like I was, bro. We did have a good weekend.
I was just in the background doing work while they were doing the show, but Wale Mania, this is not really your scene because you're not that kind of, you don't really like to go to the clubs and stuff. But I think
I would have gone to that, though.
But I think you would have enjoyed the experience of just being around a lot of the people. You get to see a lot of the divas who came through, and I'll tell you, Alicia Fox, I don't think she had a great Saturday, but
brother, I heard some stories about her that I'm not going to say on the air, right?
Yeah,
and she did not have a great Saturday.
You can tell me those off air, but she was there, and she's really pretty in person, just tall and
gorgeous. I sat next to her so many times at the South Tampa Press Box bar. She's sexy, bro. Jungle Feet.
And Mickie James, people will say, oh, she's a little bit older, but for her age or for even somebody younger, very pretty in person. You remember, what was Melina Ruca's WWE name?
Rosa Mendes.
Rosa Mendes. Yeah. She's really pretty in person.
Yes, she is.
So you could see all these folks, and also Big E was there. Your boy Big E, and he's just gigantic. Mojo was there, but my favorite person to chat with was Kenny King, and I don't know if you know why.
Lord.
I don't know if you know why he was my favorite person to chat with.
Because he made an appearance on My Brother and Me when he was like 10. That's all I can think of.
Well,
I've talked to him a few times, that guy. I was around before that guy even made it. Was it about Tough Enough?
No, it wasn't about Tough Enough. I walked up to him and I said, hey, man, I don't even want to talk to you about wrestling at all. Let's talk about The Bachelorette.
Oh, man, it's funny. The Bachelorette, it was the producer of The Bachelorette was Christian Harloff, who used to work on what do you call it, in WWE as a writer. He just started a new wrestling podcast, and I'm going to put my name in the hat to be a part of that podcast.
That'll be dope.
On Collider. Yeah, I met that dude. He's the guy with the schmoes. He's following me on Facebook and everything. He's hopefully he'll say yes, because that would be awesome if I end up doing a podcast with those guys.
But is he going to accept you because of all of your Last Jedi hate?
That's a good question, bro. You know what? I might just fuck myself out of it, bro. I love The Last Jedi. Rian Johnson is a bold, visionary director, and he wrote a compelling and gutsy character arc for Luke Skywalker there.
All right.
I like how you just pretty much called him a stooge and a Disney sellout, because let me tell you why that's funny. He's been called that nonstop since December, dude. You're treading over some dangerous water right now.
Oh man, and then the Han Solo trailer came out today. All right,
I thought it's okay.
So quickly, Wale Mania was a lot of fun. Filthy Tom Lawler was there. I got to hang out with him a little bit. He's a very nice guy.
Carlos and Oscar there is what you know who that is. Carlos.
No, they were not there. I did not see them.
What about MVP?
MVP was there. MVP is a very big dude. He, because when you go to Wale Mania, you see a lot of the wrestlers there. Lots of guys. Evan Bourne was there. Rich Swann was there. And what you realize...
What about Dangerous Dan Belton, bro?
No, Peach Machine was not there.
There's a name for the past, bro.
Peach Machine was not there.
Different era.
But the thing is you notice how small these guys are. And so when you see somebody who's gigantic, like a Mojo or an MVP, they really stand out. Obviously, Big E. But one of the funniest things is, as I was talking to Kenny King, talking about all things Bachelorette, he was I don't know if it was a bodyguard for Wale. It was just a very big dude. This dude is probably 6'5", 275. He wasn't a wrestler. I did not recognize him as a wrestler, but he was trying to get through. And we're kind of in the back room, and it's really packed back there. And so he walks right by Kenny, and he kind of puts his hands on Kenny's shoulders as if to say, excuse me. But there wasn't really enough room for him to get through, even if Kenny tried to get super skinny. So instead, he kind of turns Kenny on a pivot, like if you're a basketball player on your pivot foot, and he maneuvers Kenny perpendicular to how he was, and then he just walks through. And so Kenny looks at me and he's like, wait, did he just like move me like if I was a gate? Did he just open me like a gate? And so he walked.
Pause.
So he walked.
Jesus. What a night.
And so he walks up to the guy, and, you know, I'm thinking, like, oh, no, like, I hope there's, like, not going to be problems. But no, Kenny wanted to go over him and dap him up and go, like, my guy, you literally just kind of, like, just, you know, kind of picked me up and moved me so that you could get through it. So it was kind of funny. But yeah, man, like lots of fun people at Wale Mania. And then, you know, Wale just puts on a fantastic show. I don't know if I'm necessarily a fan of him as an MC as much as I am a fan of him as like just an entertainer. He's a really, really good entertainer.
Right.
But so that was
I agree with that.
That was my Friday night, and then Saturday I was just at like just wrestling show after wrestling show after wrestling show. Saw lots of great matches. Saw Matt Riddle and Will Ospreay, and those guys did a really, really fun match. I got to see my boy Jeff Cobb against Minoru Suzuki, which
that had to have been awesome.
You know, it was good, but I think just the kind of the story or the match that they wanted to put together, it wasn't necessarily to Jeff's strengths as much as it was to Suzuki's strength. Though Jeff did get to drop kick the shit out of him, which was great. And Keith Lee, who I'd only seen once, he went up against Daisuke Sekimoto, who was a beast.
Isn't Keith Lee like amazing?
Keith Lee is like
he's like a dream.
Well, he's like Bob Sapp. He's like a pro wrestling version of Bob Sapp.
Well, remember Bob Sapp was a pro wrestler, but he wasn't very good. Keith Lee is like a more athletic version of Bob Sapp.
Yeah,
by the way,
that like his personality.
Reminds me. Yeah, I had a conversation with Mike Daniels in his hotel room that you would have loved. This is right up your alley.
Was it about football?
About all sports. No, I'm getting there. This is like a Dave Meltzer, Bill Simmons, your two heroes conversation. I asked him, I said, okay, so if they were the same age, athletically, who would be better in the NFL, Brock Lesnar or LeBron James? That was a great little discussion because he broke it down. He was like, he told me LeBron James.
Yeah, I would agree.
They would play different positions, completely different positions.
Yeah, LeBron's probably like a tight end or wide receiver.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said. So you're impressing him right now. He's listening to this. He also went into like the technicalities of being a lineman.
Yeah,
because he was talking about how a lot of people don't understand. They think just linemen are just there like just to push guys, and there's a lot of science where you have to look and certain reflexes, you know, things like that I think a lot of people just don't understand. You know, and it's just. And I asked him straight up. I go, why do you think that Lesnar didn't make it to the Vikings? Because I was curious about his thoughts, and his whole thing was about how him and Lesnar have different skill sets, which, by the way, they stay at the same hotel, and he told me that Lesnar was lifting weights with Sable that morning. Sable was there, and he was in the gym with her, and I told him, I said, you should have gone up to him and told him that you actually made it to the NFL, and he didn't, and see what he would have said.
Oh, man. I thought you were going to say you should go over there and lift more weight than him.
That, too. That gym guy, bro. It makes you grunt when you do it. But yeah, he told me a lot of the science about, you know, NFL. We had a lot of really good, again, a lot of this stuff is not going to be said on the air. A lot of really cool conversations about like the NFL and the intricacies of different teams, and you know, it was very educational with both him and Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, because they're probably really good technique guys. Whereas Brock was, you know, sort of like an athletic freak who had, you know, he didn't learn the technique because he didn't play football for his whole career. But
that's what he told me. He said that if Brock had gone to college football, it would have been a different story. Like, you know, performed at a higher level. But
right.
But yeah, he talks about how as far as athleticism goes, it's a different skill set, is what he said, and he broke it down real good, man. It was good stuff.
No, I'm actually impressed with your question. That was a really good question.
Right.
And it wasn't about Dragon Ball.
Well, I'm a journalist, bro. That's what we do. Oh, we talked about Dragon Ball a lot.
Oh, I can imagine.
Bro, these guys are such marks, bro. I couldn't. We had a whole conversation about the Dragon Ball Super finale at the dinner table for like. Dude, we broke down all these different aspects of the storytelling and how, like, you know, and if you're listening to this and you're a Dragon Ball fan, you know what I'm talking about. Like, this tournament. So what they did with this tournament, right? I'll break it down for you in wrestling terminology. The tournament they just got done doing, right? One of the themes of the tournament is that it went beyond good and evil. And I have a video I'm working on about this. The people in this tournament were bad guys teaming up with good guys, and good guys doing bad things, and bad guys doing good things.
Isn't that like a tournament in Mexico? Don't they like do something like that?
Well, it's sort of like the whole thing is where, like, okay, here's what I'm trying to tell you. They blur the lines with the baby faces and the heels in Dragon Ball because it's all about survival. Because the way the tournament was is if your universe loses, you get deleted from existence, which is a much bigger thing than getting a title shot at WrestleMania.
Just like Bray Wyatt, Jesus.
Well, no, he got reincarnated, which we're going to talk about shortly. But whatchamacallit? No, and like the tournament arc, one of the things they did that was beautiful is that they had bad guys teaming up with good guys, and they did it for the right reason, which is survival. And the whole theme was, what are you willing to do to survive? Are you willing to give up your own morals and ethics to survive? Really good stuff. I'm making a video about it, but it's going to be a harder video to do because it's going to require a lot of thinking, and I hate thinking. But yeah, no, I'm just saying we had this whole deep conversation about it. It was good stuff.
That's good. Okay, so I don't want to bore people with my like super like pro wrestling weekend, but the one thing I will say. And
NXT was awesome.
Well, I watched that. I watched that when I got back home. But when we were at the Rev Pro show, and Bryan and Dave talked about this a little bit, but I don't think they gave it enough credence. Which is at the intermission of this show, all of a sudden I look behind me and there's a line, almost like if it was like an autograph line, and I was like looking, I was like, I didn't know that wrestlers were signing autographs at the intermission. So I kind of got up and I was like, oh, I wonder who's signing. Because the line was like 20 people long. And all of a sudden I look over and it's the take a photo selfie with Dave Meltzer line.
That's awesome.
So this guy is just like, he's just taking photos with fans. They're obviously asking him questions and stuff. So I was like, oh my God. I told Bryan, I was like, he needs like his own WrestleCon table or something. And so then
I think that's a good idea. Do more Q&As.
and so then after the show, like we were like ready to leave because we had to go to the WWN show, and then we also had to get dinner. But there was another like 15 people after the show getting an autograph, or not an autograph. I mean, he signed a couple autographs, I think, but mostly they just wanted a selfie.
What did he sign? Like copies of like
I don't know,
tributes to or whatever. Should
have. If they were on their game, maybe if they had like a paper Observer copy or something.
I guess that'd be cool. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
But yeah, so that was kind of the deal. Is we couldn't leave until all the customers were happy with their selfie. So the thing that I want to know now, we'll kick off with sort of your experience, and I know you didn't really see. I think you only saw WrestleMania live. You didn't see any other shows, but
yeah, well, I watched the NXT on the network because the thing is, when the whole thing was going down with NXT, I was supposed to go hang out with Mike that night, but there was a really bad storm that hit. Like, you got out right in time.
I know we got delayed for like an hour because of a tornado warning.
Yeah, and it was like, it wasn't hurricane level, but it was like scary, like storm. So I was just in my hotel room just saying, screw this. So everybody, when you got to the NXT building, if you got inside, you're good to go. But if you weren't inside, bro, you were going to get rained on, and it rained very, very hard. So I watched it from the hotel room. And I was tired as hell anyways.
So before I ask you the WrestleMania question, just to let folks know, yes, we'll talk about the Brock Lesnar thing. We'll talk about, Brock and Roman in that match. We'll talk about Lesnar re-signing. We'll talk about all that stuff, including all the stuff that happened on Raw tonight.
Dana White being a mark. Bro, I love how all these guys, I'm sorry, but it amuses me. Millionaires, athletes, MMA fighters, rappers, CEOs, they're all marks.
Hey,
all of them.
You gotta let your hair down sometimes.
Oh, no, it makes me feel better about it. And let me tell you something right now. Look, I was making jokes earlier about hanging out with these NFL guys. Real talk, they're super down to earth dudes, man. At least the ones I hung out with. Vinny Curry, bro, is a Super Bowl champion of the earth, bro. And the dude was mad cool.
Yeah,
now he's coming to the Bucks, which means no more ring.
They're regular dudes, man. They're just good brothers.
I told him, I said, now that you're with the Bucks, bro, I said, congratulations on your ring, but now you're with the Bucks, that's the last one you're going to get, bro. I did not give a fuck, bro. I didn't give a shit. He's with bro, how do you go from the Philadelphia Eagles championship team to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, bro?
Because, this, it's all about the money. especially in football,
actually,
because there's no guaranteed contracts.
There are stories that I cannot tell publicly about the money, and that's where I'm going to leave it.
All right. So basically, what I was saying is, thanks to the people on both the World of Geekdom YouTube channel and the Fight Game blog, the Fight Game podcast SoundCloud channel, and all the people listening on Apple Podcasts, and a shout out to your old stomping grounds, the KLB folks, that group, that pro wrestling group
that you're running. I heard.
No, I'm not running.
I heard you're helping out. That's what I was told.
I just like talking to most, except for one guy. I like talking to just about everybody in there.
Who's the one guy, Draven?
No, Draven. You know Draven. Me and Draven are cool.
By the way, that's another thing. Real quick, I knew Bruce Pritchard was over when they showed Jerry Jarrett at the Hall of Fame, and the crowd went, that's when you know your podcast is over.
That's why they signed him to do the network stuff.
Bro, I found out that I was told that his download numbers, they're not quite Geekdom 101 level, but they're really, really high.
So, they're the problem with download numbers from all the, because when I talk to these folks, I'm like grilling them about stuff like this, which is, I think the analytics in the downloads are actually not fully, it's still kind of a new business with this podcast stuff, and unless you're actually counting downloads like rather than only streams or whatever, like it's kind of it's kind of a funky thing. Like, what does 10 seconds of them turning on a show count? Does it count the same as like listening to 3 hours? Like,
well, yeah, but here's the way the numbers work. It's consistency. If all your shows are doing 50,000 downloads a week, that means that you have a set audience, because people would, otherwise numbers would fall off. You know what
basically
I mean?
What I'm saying is the counting is what could be a little misleading, and I'll leave it at that, because I had some conversations.
You just want to bury them because you're friends with Dave.
No. Look. Popularity is popularity, right? We know that those guys are over to their audience big time. I'm just saying that from all the conversations that I've heard, the analytics maybe slightly differently based on new metrics and stuff. So, anyways, those guys are definitely over. Like, I don't listen to them because my enjoyment comes from like learning about history and stuff. And
but that's all they do is cover history. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's all like revisionist, and I'm not into that.
No, come on, bro. Take off the Dave Meltzer hat. Bro, it's not all revisionist. It's only partially revisionist.
Come on.
No. There's a lot of insightful things that Bruce hits.
Look, Bruce has stories about being there. Fantastic.
Every show he does, he has at least one or two bits that are very interesting.
But when you listen to him talk about Montreal, that's all you need to know about.
Listen, I don't want to hear anyone talk about Montreal ever again, all right? Draven and I made an agreement. We're never going to bring that up ever again on KLB. We did a 3-part series. We're never doing it again. But let me tell you something right now. What makes that show great is Conrad and his questions, because he asked questions that you would never think to ask, right, to Bruce. For example, during the WrestleMania 4 podcast, he's bringing up like questions about marketing and like questions about like, when did you decide to do a tournament? When did you decide to go against Jim Crockett? Like really good.
Okay. But then what did Bruce say about when they changed the bracket?
Oh, I just got done hearing that. He said Vince changed his mind. That's what he said. About the brackets, because Conrad brought that up. He talked about how the brackets changed from one week to another, and he said that Vince changed his mind. What I thought was really funny was there was a bit where they printed a WWF magazine. Meltzer covered this too. They printed a WWF magazine right around that time that came out months before WrestleMania, and it had Elizabeth shopping, and they wrote in there, Elizabeth Elizabeth is shopping with WWF World Champion Randy Savage, and then Bruce was like, "Yeah, somebody screwed up." So he's pretty honest a lot of times, bro.
All right. Yeah. I'll take your word for it, and I'll keep taking your word for it, so I don't have to listen to it. All right, so now let's talk a little bit about your experience. So we had actually talked about from the beginning of the Road to WrestleMania series that we did that you decided to go balls out and make a purchase that maybe you slightly regretted when you made it, just because you have anxiety about stuff like that. But
I do know.
Yeah. I've only known you for like 15 years now.
I told Duan I've known you for freaking like 15 years and I still haven't seen you. Actually, it's more like 19 years. But yeah, that's weird.
Okay, so let's actually go there then, because that's one of the things I wanted to hit, which is our boy Duan from who when the Fight Game blog was created, it was me and Alan. And then Alan said, "Hey, if you're going to do MMA..."
You mean me, Alan, and you? Because now you're being a dick by not including me.
No,
in the original.
I'm going to include you. It was me and Alan. Then Alan said, "Hey, I have a friend. If you're going to cover MMA, like he's really smart about stuff. His name is Duan." I was like, "All right, I'm in." And then I asked you to join. And then,
no, I was there before Duan, bro.
This is not about being in order, all right? This is just about...
What is wrong with you tonight, bro?
It's just about who was on the team. And then I reached out to Cactus Jim over the years.
You're talking to Paul Heyman tonight, bro? I'm shocked.
Over the years, we've had...
Revisionist history from Bruce, bro? From Bruce? Are you sure? All right, keep going.
Over the years, who else has been a part of the team? Robert Lashley, who would write about boxing, but I think he fell out of love with the sport of boxing. We've had
our boy Silva,
Robert Silva. He's definitely in there now. What about that one guy who like wrote TNA stuff for 1 week?
He was a joke, bro.
What happened to that guy?
Hopefully, well, maybe he got a job at TNA like Kurt Angle told us to do tonight, bro. Maybe TNA he got a job there. And that was garbage, bro.
Don't forget about none other than Cadillac Don.
What happened to that guy, bro?
He's still around.
He has my Blu-rays.
He's a busy guy. Anyways, so Duan had been writing with you and I for a long time. And, Duan is the co-host of the Fabulous Four podcast, which we still have to finish that series with 2 more episodes left. And I've never met him in person. And so this weekend... He said, "Hey, I'm going to be at WrestleMania."
Well, he's from another country. I mean, that's why.
Yeah, he's from Ireland. He's at Duan Dub on Twitter. He's from Dublin. So I made it a point. I was like, "Look, no matter what, my main reason for this trip, I got to meet Duan because I've been talking to him for so many years." And so we actually did get to meet at the WWN Super Show. He's we're also the Progress Show. But the WWN Super Show, I got to sit with him, and we got to chat for like 2.5 hours. But the other thing was meeting you, and you and I, our paths didn't cross because I left, and you right when you got there. But Duan said, "Hey, Danny, if you're around, we should meet up." And I was wondering if that was going to happen because I knew that you were going to be kind of with your crew. And so Duan hits me up on email today, and he says, "Guess who was staying at my hotel?" And I'll let you tell I'll let you tell the rest of the story.
No, so I'm outside, right, and I'm waiting for the van to pick me up, the A+ van to pick me up and drive me to the airport so I can leave New Orleans. And there's a black lady, who had driven me to the restaurant earlier that day because I got an Uber to go to this Louisiana buffet. And so I went over there, whatever, and she was really cool. So I saw her pull up again, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" And she drove him in. And he goes, "Hey, Danny." I go, "Hey, what's up?" I thought it was a fan. I thought it was just some freaking fanboy. And then I turn around, and I see his face, and I'm like, "Wait a minute, who are you?" And he's like, "Duan." He go, "Oh, my, I had a meltdown, bro. I couldn't." He had double take.
Yeah.
Because he looks like Chael Sonnen. All right, let's not forget that little detail. Bro.
He's tall as shit too.
Yes, he is. He's gigantic. And I was like, oh my god. And I wanted to talk to him more, but then the A+ guy showed up and I couldn't. And I was like, "Are you staying at this hotel?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Bro, you were at this hotel the entire time." It's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my god." Like I could have been hanging out with him like a lot more.
No,
I could have slept with the guy, bro.
But you could have. You guys could have bunked together. But the cool thing is, so I'm glad that you got a picture with him. I'm glad that I got a picture with he and Alan. You and I will have to sort of figure that out.
It's like, it's like, you know what it is with you and I? It's like at the end of Force Awakens when Rey and Kylo are fighting. A good Star Wars movie. And all of a sudden the Earth splits in half, like the planet whatever the hell the planet was.
Come
where
on,
they had
man. This is your lane. You got to know.
No, I don't care anymore. I don't care. But this is not Star Wars. Star Wars died in 1983. And so, yeah, it split in half, right? And then that's what happened with us, bro, that the Earth split in half.
Well, I will say that you did not come to WrestleMania in my hometown. I did not go to WrestleMania in Orlando, which is near you.
That's
and
not
so Orlando was almost in the middle. I mean, New Orleans was almost in the middle, and we just we didn't cross. Like, we just never crossed paths. But next year it's in New York. I don't know what's gonna happen next year. Maybe next year we'll finally meet up.
NYNJ. Well, NJ is Mike Daniels' hometown, so maybe I'll go with him.
Well, that'll work. Okay, so now let's get back to WrestleMania. So what is your day like Sunday morning? I heard that they actually got everyone, or as many people as they could, in the building very early so that people could watch the first three matches. Like, how early did you get there?
I got there not that early, but I can tell you they had a block party event with like Ric Flair and Alundra Blaze. I didn't go to that. Some of my friends did, but I didn't go to it. They opened the doors at like the block party was at noon, and they opened the doors at 2:30 Central Time. So, and that's good. They actually opened the doors 2 hours before the pre-show started, and that was very smart. Now, one thing that sucks about sitting on the floor is when the show is over, the amount of litter and trash, food, drinks, spilled soda that you have to walk through, bro. It's like freaking Woodstock. You know what I'm saying? And that sucked. Like, that's one thing that sucked. And also carrying that damn WrestleMania chair. Yeah, it sucked. But
did you get to take it home?
I did. Well, I have a friend of mine who's driving back to Tampa. He's going to be bringing it for me. So it's at his hotel room. But yeah, it's a way you can take home. And basically, you know, because Uber, like, you know how when you go to a stadium, like, they have half the damn roads blocked off. So we basically walked back to the hotel room, to Mike's hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton. And that was just, you know, it was a 20-minute walk. I wasn't tired. I was more annoyed at having to carry the chair. Like, my body can withstand walking, but the damn chair annoyed me. And then I ended up going home after that. So, or not home, going to the hotel after that Sunday night.
So, okay, so you get there, like the floor seats.
There's a different entrance to go to the floor. Totally different entrance.
Right. So when you sit down in your seats, like, what do you see? Because you were like, what, like fifth row or something like that?
I was sixth row in the front. Yeah, and the people who were in front of us did not show up until right before the show started. So I thought about sneaking up there, but you know.
Okay, so So you mentioned Travis Browne. You sat near Travis Browne. How far were you away from when John Cena was sitting with the crowd?
No, he was on the other side.
Okay.
He was like behind like the Spanish announce guys right around there. Yeah, Cena didn't come around, but Braun Strowman did come around to our area for like a second, but it was too crowded.
Oh, so were you sitting next to No Way Jose? Because Braun looked right at No Way Jose and was like, "Nope, you're not my partner tonight." I
would have loved it if he looked at Tanahashi and did that. See, that was if he looked right at Tanahashi and did that. But no, actually, what was funny is. I was in front of No Way Jose. The NXT crew was behind us, which is freaking weird. Let me tell you why. Because for 33, I sat like in the 200 section, up in the risers or whatever, and the NXT crew was behind us then too. Like, I always end up getting put in front of the NXT people. I don't know why.
You know, did you see the photo of Minoru Suzuki like sitting in the second level with the tall boy?
I did not see that, but I want to see it now.
Dude, how can you not put Minoru Suzuki like in like wherever like? Well, how is he in the second deck or the second level or whatever?
Maybe he didn't want to pay for good tickets, bro.
Well, why does he have to pay?
I mean, he saw your do you think that Vince McMahon and Paul know who Minoru is? Well, maybe Paul knows who Minoru Suzuki is. I doubt Vince knows who that is, bro. Well, pal, we're gonna put him in a diaper and give him the nerve pinch. That's it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's Vince. Well, I feel bad for Minoru Suzuki only because he saw his boy freaking flopping that in his match. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Okay, so just a couple more questions about sort of where you were. So you mentioned that you sat near Travis Browne. You were with.
I talked to Travis Browne. Yes,
you're obviously with your boys. What did you ask Travis any questions? Did you ask him anything about Ronda? Like what would you talk to him about?
No, that was the first thing I said. I was like, hey, I go, you're Travis Browne. And he was like, yeah. I was like, oh, man, I remember when you kick over him, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so is Ronda nervous? And he's like, no, man, she's ready. She's excited. And what a mark this guy is. So obviously, when after the match, he goes to the back. And he's there with the kids, Obviously, so when she was in the ring, she pointed at Travis Browne.
Yeah.
And one of my friends thought she pointed at me, but no, it was Travis. And I wish.
That's hilarious.
She pointed at Geekdom. I was like, no, she pointed at Travis Browne, bro. But anyways, I'm a bigger star than Travis Browne. No, I'm kidding. But I'm just kidding. But no, so he was so into the wrestling, like he stayed. He didn't just go to the back to hang out with Ronda all night. He didn't do that, which you would think he did. No, he came back out, watched the rest of the matches, was into so much. He was popping at the moves. He was clapping. He was freaking wincing during some of the more brutal stuff, like the Lesnar Reigns match, which we'll get to that here shortly because, boy, there's things about that pissed me off, and it wasn't in the ring. But that being said, he's a fan, bro. And I think he's training. I don't know for sure. I didn't ask him. I should have.
So was there anybody else that you recognized that was sitting in those seats? Because if they put Travis Browne there, I imagine I don't know if there was other significant others of some of the wrestlers or not that were that close.
Oh, they were in the front. Oh yeah, Randy Orton. I don't know if it got on camera because I have not seen this show on camera. Okay, I just meant on TV network. I have not seen it yet. Just letting everybody know that. But as of this recording. But there's Randy Orton's daughters were like in the front row because after his match. He goes outside and he kisses them and all that. They were right in the front row on the hard camera side, not opposite hard camera. They were there.
Okay, so
Wale was on the right.
Wale was on your right. You didn't talk to him about Wale Mania.
There was one celebrity there that I did not recognize, but I did. Like I could not pinpoint who it was. Big dude with a beard, looked like an old football player. Like he really looked familiar. Could not put my finger on who he was.
I don't know, man. That you just mentioned like every football player I've ever seen in my life.
Right. True.
All right, so let's go through some of the matches on this card. We're not going to go match by match because now it's a day and a half later. What did you think about? Let's get right to the main event because. I'm very interested in.
Oh, I'm interested talking to you about it too, bro. But keep going.
So the live crowd really shit on Lesnar and Reigns. I mean, they really, literally gave them no chance from the beginning. Like the people who say, this was a bad match, that's why the crowd shit on it. No, they started before the match. They shit on it before the match even started.
Yes, they never gave them a chance. I talked to Doohan about it. They never gave them a chance. Look, I get it. Because I asked some people at Ringside who started those chants. I was with the guys who started those chants. What's your problem with the match? And their philosophy was that Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar do the same thing over and over again.
They've only had one match together, one-on-one.
Well, no. He's talking about overall, they're like, even separately. Like all Roman Reigns does is Superman punch, the spear, and that's it. And all Lesnar does is belly to bellies, Germans and the F5.
But you did. I hope you told them that Stone Cold Steve Austin did 3 moves.
I didn't tell them that, but I basically told them what did you expect? Like that's not the purpose. Like it's almost like they missed the point. Like I get what they were going for with this match. I like the match. I actually love the match. I love that freaking match. Again, I don't know how it's going to come off when I see it on TV, but I love the match. The crowd totally shat on it. They chanted CM Punk. They chanted "This is awful," which they chanted "This is awful" during the F5 sequence, which was weird. I get that. I get it. And I think some people were mad because Roman kicked out of like 6 F5s or 5, and then he got pinned at the 6th one, something like that. But, I mean, I loved it. I loved the twist ending. Shocked the hell out of everyone. Everyone was shocked at the ending. No, because everybody knew he was leaving, but he really wasn't leaving.
Did those people feel like idiots? I hope they did.
I don't know. I didn't talk to them, but I felt like I agree with you, dude. Like, that match – and there's people who were bitching about it, like on social media too, that the match sucked. People were saying it was awful. It wasn't awful. It wasn't. It just. I love that match. It was so like it was what I was expecting. Just real brutal stuff, dude. Roman, take it from me. because I saw it right. It was right in front of me. Roman Reigns took a pounding. This dude landed on his neck, on his hip, on his shoulders, very, very uncomfortably and unnaturally throughout the entire night. This dude took a beating, bro.
So Brock wins. The crowd, I think the crowd was like, oh, I actually didn't know what was going to happen. I just wasted all this money to boo a match that I thought I knew what was going to happen, and I actually didn't. God, I hate those people.
It really did piss me off because, like, I was enjoying the match, dude. I was totally enjoying it. I thought Roman was going to win, but I was enjoying it.
I didn't think it was a 5-star. I mean, I didn't think it was a 4-star match. It was like, it was a 3.5-star match.
But it was a main event world heavyweight title match.
Right.
You got
it was violent.
Yeah.
It was two of the better athletes and two of the, I don't know how tough Roman is in real life, but he's projected as a pretty tough guy. Two of guys who were just doing whatever it took to try to make this thing as good as it could be. I don't know how Roman got cut, but it looked like maybe it was hard way. I mean, it looked like that on TV, but I'd have to watch again to see for sure.
Hard way.
But man, that guy, they both put it on the line to entertain this crowd, and for the crowd to just be, not even really give it a chance before it started was really piss poor. I mean, I have an issue with these WrestleMania crowds, which is partially why I don't really care about going to WrestleMania, but also why I don't go to the Raw after WrestleMania, because I
agree with you. I was just going to say, I think it's the Raw after WrestleMania was a lot more fun, like in 2013, 2012, 2014. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I feel like it started to get really obnoxious. Like, when they started to get themselves over and the beach ball, and that's the other thing during the Reigns and Lesnar thing, that they were throwing the beach ball around. Like, I kind of see where Cesaro's coming from with the beach ball, which is funny because that stuff started on the indies, the whole beach ball thing. But no, dude, it just, I mean, again, I know people were probably tired and all that. I love that match. I mean, I feel so weird. I mean, you know what it is, bro? This is total role reversal. Remember when you were at 32? I think it was you, right? And you kept defending 32, and I kept telling you how much it sucked on TV.
No, yeah, because I said it was a fun show live. That was my point. And you were saying it sucked on TV. And actually, I haven't even watched it back.
Well, of course not, 7 hours. But I will watch this show back and see how it came off on TV. My favorite match was, and by the way, the Lesnar thing was totally shocked everybody. Like, nobody knew. And the thing is, we found out later that I guess it was he had re-signed, like, secretly. I love when they do that. But what I was going to tell you was my favorite match of the night was probably Ronda was great. I really like Charlotte and Asuka.
Okay,
I think that was my favorite match.
Hold on to that, because I want to get to the Ronda match next, and then the Charlotte match after that. The one other thing about the Brock thing. So you mentioned that he sort of secretly signed before the show started, and he didn't let anyone know. They didn't let nobody know the finish. Blah 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 blah. Blah. So secretive. Oh well. I feel like, and I'm a shout out to my buddy David Rubio, who's the one who sent me this on Twitter.
Ricky Rubio?
No, pretty close though. He said he thinks that they just overthought the match. Like, they were so worried about.
Yeah, Alvarez said that too.
About tricking the hardcore fans, that they overthought it rather than just going with sort of your smart normal layout. And hey, maybe that doesn't work either with this crowd at the end of the 7 hours. But I kind of agree that they overbooked the shit out of it, and they're trying so hard to keep things a secret. Like, I feel like they don't have to do that. Like, what are they so afraid of that people
J.J. Abrams, baby?
I guess.
Well, here's my whole thing on that. So I get what they were trying to do. This was the Tommy Dreamer. This is probably Heyman's idea. They wanted to get Roman cheered with sympathy by having Lesnar beat the crap out of him and have Roman kind of earn the fans' respect. But it's just not going to work with that guy. It's just, you know what I mean? Like,
and also not with this crowd.
I guess you're right. Yeah, but I mean, they have to go from town to town. The comparison that I made on Twitter which I think I was on point with because people were already making this, 4 years ago in your neck of the woods, is Lex Luger. I mean, poor Lex Luger had this happen to him twice. In '88 with Ric Flair, Jim Herd wanted to put the belt on Lex Luger to become the World Heavyweight Champion. That was the guy he wanted. Luger didn't get the job done at the Bash. Then Flair beats him at Starrcade. That's the end of Luger. Like, that was it. Then in 1993, Luger comes to WWF, fails against Yokozuna, but celebrates like he won the title. Then he fails again at WrestleMania. Like, this reminded me so much of Lex Luger because now that Roman has wrestled Brock Lesnar 2 different times at WrestleMania in main events and not gotten the job done twice, and he got pinned by Brock at SummerSlam. Don't forget that in the 4-way. When Heyman says that Roman is Brock's bitch, I mean, the only thing I can think of is they're going to do like the Goldberg thing where Roman will beat him like in 2 years, you know what I mean, and say, oh, this is the monkey that I can't get off my back. But will the fans still even want this guy to be the top guy in 2 years? Like, I agree with Alvarez, dude. I think Roman as the top guy, I don't know if they gave up on him, and I don't know what happened. I just feel like what are they going to do? What are they going to do now?
They are going to. They should.
Is he winning in Saudi Arabia?
Well, they should try to experiment with him going heel, at least for a little bit. Like, we've been saying this for 3 years now that he should be going heel. But I get it. That they're a little bit different. Maybe it's not good for a guy who's so good to the babyface fans or to the fans as a babyface. Maybe it's not great for him to like turn heel. Maybe he can go like, I don't know, can he go sort of heel and I don't know the answer, but I think they have to experiment if they still want him, because like you said, in this current form he is absolutely ruined, there's no there's no belief behind him. So you have to be creative. They tried with the Shield thing, and then all of a sudden Ambrose gets hurt and they couldn't do it. But maybe when Ambrose comes back, they go back to the Shield. Maybe he can turn heel for, maybe even just 6 months.
Do the Naito thing. Yeah, no, I can't argue with anything you just said. Because, as the conquering babyface, it's just not going to happen. I almost feel like if he was a heel and, like, Seth Rollins wrestled him at WrestleMania, I feel like that would work out for this kind of crowd. You've got Seth Rollins or Daniel Bryan. You've got the indie darling against the company corporate guy. I think then you'd get the reaction you want, but you have to go with him being a heel. I mean,
they even gave the poor guy mumps to try to get him some sympathy with the fans.
Well, I can tell you a story about the mumps later, bro.
Okay, so we hear. Today, there's 2 stories that came out today, and we're talking.
We have a lot to cover here, folks. This is crazy.
Well, we're still on Monday, so the people are going to be hearing this on Tuesday, early Tuesday, but we're still Monday night. So we hear
SmackDown is left.
we hear early Monday, according to Ryan Satin, who has a breadcrumb of a story, which is
here comes the Dave defense. Well, I can read you like a book, bro.
Which is the fact that after the match, Brock and Vince had words, and Brock may have thrown the belt down either at Vince or just at the wall.
He was right,
had
though.
Words. So right, but there, like, that's all that he said. So he heard a rumor and decided that instead of find out what the story is, I'm just going to post the rumor of what I heard, and that was his story. So it later comes out that Brock was pissed off at something. Maybe he was pissed off at the crowd heat or at being booed or whatever. Brock is a very emotional guy. And so it comes out later that WWE posts on Twitter that Brock Lesnar has re-signed with the company.
What a swerve, bro. So are we telling me that Brock and Vince work the boys? Because that's what I'm trying to tell people. This is not unheard of nowadays. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so they could have definitely done that, or they're both just 2 emotional guys, and they were unhappy with the way that main event played out.
2 friends, I mean, not friends, but, it happens all the time. 2 guys with testosterone. You know how Vince is, bro. He ain't stepping down to nobody. He ain't stepping down to Lesnar, bro. Look, pal, this riding Satan guy, let's screw it. Let's fuck him. Let's fuck him over. He's reporting on this shit all weekend. Yeah. So look, when you get done with the match, come back here and throw the belt at me. I can take it. Take it.
He should have hit him with it.
You're gonna pin him. 1, 2, 3 after 6 F5s.
They should have recreated the Vince and Kevin Owens moment from that 365.
They're gonna regret booing my main event. That was him.
Okay, so they tweet that out, and so the wonder is that okay, so how they re-signed Brock? What does that mean for his UFC career?
We have no idea what his deal is. It's weird.
So here's my theory. Now, it's not anything that I specifically know about. I don't have any inside scoop, but here's my theory about this deal.
Yeah, I've asked and nobody has an answer. Just letting you know.
Once I saw what they were doing, which is they're promoting a rematch for the Saudi Arabia show, which is going to be on a Friday at like noon your time, 9 a.m. my time.
I'm going to watch it, though. It looks pretty fun.
I'm going to try to watch it, but I got to work, so I'm just hoping I don't have any meetings.
Right.
And so that comes out that's the match. So here's my theory. Brock Lesnar has not put himself back into the USADA drug testing pool. He needs to be in the USADA drug testing pool for 6 months and has to give clean tests in order to be able to fight in the UFC again. According to folks, I think Dave posted it, other people have posted it, he re-signed with WWE with the caveat that he can fight in the UFC one time, which is kind of weird, because what if he
already did that in 2016?
Right, and so the reason why I didn't think that was going to happen again is because reportedly Vince was pissed that he failed the drug test because it made the company look bad. And so the story was that, or the thought was that maybe Vince wasn't going to let him do that again because Brock failed the drug test. So now I think that Brock Lesnar extended whatever his deal is because he knows that when he enters the USADA drug testing pool, he wants to be clean. And I'm not saying that Brock is taking X, Y, and Z. I don't know what he's taking, what he was taking.
And also what we don't know is how long is his deal? Is it another 3-year deal? Is it, 6-month extension?
Okay,
like what is his actual...
So this is my theory, which is there's some sort of extension. I don't think it's like the multi-year thing that people have been reporting. And he's gonna do his last couple matches in WWE as he continues to get ready to re-enter that the drug testing, and then he'll go to the UFC and he'll do his fight
and come back,
and then he'll come back like that. Like that's what I think is going to happen. Now, the people who are like, "Oh, he swerved Dana," I can't imagine he does that because
I don't think so.
He can make $5 to $10 million in a night to fight Daniel Cormier or Stipe, and then just come back to WWE and get a sweet deal that he has currently. So I don't think...
So wait, are you telling me this man's going to enter the octagon with the Universal title around his shoulder? Please tell me yes.
No. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he'll do the honors. I don't know if it'll be to Roman. I hope. I mean, I guess it should be to Roman.
You think they might change the belt in Saudi Arabia?
I think they might do it because, look, okay, this show, for whatever reason, started as just a show and is now being booked better than everything they do outside of WrestleMania.
It literally feels bigger than the real Royal Rumble from January.
It does, right? 50-man Royal Rumble that they announced Seth Rollins and the what is that match? Seth Rollins, is there a 3-way or a 4-way for the IC title? There's John Cena and Triple H.
Yeah.
There's Lesnar and Roman in the cage. I forget whatever else that they announced.
Bro, if Roman escapes the cage to win, what a horrible to protect Brock.
Well, if you want the Lex Luger theory, how about
RoboCop breaks the cage open?
No, I was gonna say before the match, the Saudi Arabia says there can be no blood in this match. If you bleed, you lose. And Roman hits the spear, and all of a sudden he's bleeding again, and he's about to pin Brock, and they call it. They said, "Nope, you're bleeding. Match is over." Lex and Rick.
God.
No, that's
dude, the idea of them changing the belt on a Friday morning at like 3 p.m. or whatever the hell, right? I guess it'd be like 11 a.m. for you or whatever. I don't see it. I think Brock, if he's going to fight this summer, is going to have the championship this summer. I just don't see you know what I mean? Who's going to beat him? Somebody has to beat him. Who? Who can do it?
Nobody right now.
I say Keith Lee, bro. Keith Lee. They didn't go with Bobby Lashley, so I say Keith Lee.
Bobby Lashley held Elias in a suplex for about 30 seconds tonight.
He looked good, bro. I mean, he's never been a fountain of charisma, but he looked good.
So we'll see what happens with Brock and Roman on in a couple weeks on that show. I'll tell you what. I know a lot of people did not like the main event. I totally get if you didn't like it.
Loved it.
I was fine with it. I was hoping that. I don't want to see guys get booed when they don't deserve to get booed. If the match sucks,
right, dude, they got their dude. They beat the fuck out of each other, bro. Did you see the spot where Roman speared him like on top of the table? Like, bro, Brock Lesnar's ass hit the freaking side of that table. Have you ever hit like your ass on like a table, bro, and you get that bruise? Like, yeah. Bro, the shit hurts, bro. And you're right, they don't deserve it. Yeah, I like some people on Twitter were saying, I'm sick of Brock never being around because there are marks and they fell for the damn freaking Roman Reigns promo.
Oh my God, he did it again tonight too. Roman did it again tonight.
Yeah, and then Samoa Joe completely cucked him with his promo, bro. Samoa Joe buried that man, bro. I've been telling people for years that Joe is a very underrated promo.
Joe's the best. Joe is an amazing. He's just Joe is really good at his job.
He knows how to talk.
You know what? If Joe had a different body, Joe would be one of the top superstars in wrestling.
And that's not your opinion. That's WWE's.
Well, I mean, the guy just said, the guy's not going to take steroids, and he probably has bad genetics, and maybe he's not great with his diet. Oh well, but if he looked like one of those other guys that they love the look of, he'd have been like the top guy.
Oh, well, he's a whole package. I mean, he's a little old though. I still think he is a little bit old. But the thing is, yeah, no, I feel like I love the promo. But that being said, no, it pissed me off, bro, because the match. I mean, I get if you want a more full-time champion, but I feel like the belt is a little bit more prestigious if you don't have it defended every week. And I get that they want that, but that's why we have SmackDown and NXT. You've got a full-time champion every week anyways, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But either way, somebody has to beat this dude, and it has to be the right guy, and I don't know who that is right now. Like, I'm looking up and down the roster. Bobby Lashley would be a logical choice because he's like Brock Lesnar. They're very similar. But are they going to do that? Like, is that the direction? I haven't heard that that's the direction.
I mean, Daniel Bryan's the right guy, but they would never do it.
Okay. I agree, except I don't agree. I like Daniel Bryan.
He's a vanilla. You don't tell me he's a vanilla midget.
No, I just can't picture him beating Lesnar and having it be believable. I know he's a submission guy, but he's really small compared to Brock.
He is. Very small.
That's what I'm saying. And Brock's been pushed to not sell anything.
Ric Flair beat Vic Van Vader one time. It could happen.
I guess you're right. I mean I guess that's true. I mean, I guess that is true. I just can't think of anyone who can beat Kevin Owens. No.
Nope.
Joe could be the guy, but Joe already lost.
It's got to be Browne, right?
I guess.
But Browne's tag teaming with 10-year-olds.
Yeah, the youngest world champion in the history of the business, right there, Nicholas. I'll never be top, bro. Except if Matt Hardy's son Maxwell gets the belt, which could happen. He'll be the youngest champion.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. I didn't like it, but Nicholas on Raw today was pretty good. He was much better.
Son of referee John Cone.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, but man, Jim Cornette gives Kenny Omega so much shit for having a match with a doll, and he can't not give WWE shit for this one. Okay, so let's talk about Ronda, because Ronda was the best thing on WrestleMania, at least in my view.
It was way better than I thought.
And it wasn't just like the fact that they pulled off such a fun match. It was like the match was good. It was, she just didn't, this isn't like Lawrence Taylor beating Bam Bam Bigelow where you're like, oh wow, like they actually kind of pulled it off. Like, this was the best match on the show. Well, I know you like Charlotte and Asuka, fine. Like,
that was a great fucking match.
Either or to me. Like, I don't really care. But Kurt and Triple H were great. Stephanie was great. Ronda was great. Like, when you watch someone like Ronda,
they put it together very perfectly.
But think of her athleticism versus any of the other women. Like, compare her athleticism to Charlotte's athleticism. Charlotte can do these great flips. She can do a moonsault. She's very limber, but she is not the level of athlete that Ronda Rousey is. Asuka is not the level of athlete that Ronda Rousey is.
Oh, but Stephanie is, because she knew how to reverse that damn armbar. Oh my God, what a bunch of BS that was. Stephanie took jujitsus, bro. She learned how to reverse the armbar from the fact that Ronda Rousey. Okay, the fact that Stephanie McMahon reversed the armbar in this match, right? And yet, like, Liz Carmouche couldn't do it.
Well, it's just because you know what's going to happen. You know who trained Stephanie secretly for this match?
Travis Browne? What a turn that would be.
The NXT champion, Shayna Baszler.
That's your angle?
No, I don't know.
You know what? I like that angle. I like that angle. I like it, bro. So you're telling me that Kathleen Zingano, bro, Kathleen Zingano can't reverse the armbar, but freaking Stephanie? Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Misha Tate.
I just take it as, Ronda was taking it easy on her. She didn't want to really break her arm. She just wanted her to feel a little bit of pain. Okay, so I have to give it up to your boy. He was not Hunter. You and Draven.
No, he's Paul.
He was Paul. He was Paul on this night. I saw a graphic that said he has the most WrestleMania losses at like 14.
Yeah, and the most appearances, I think.
Yeah, so that dude, he looked.
Now wait a minute, time out. Paul has a few losses, but Hunter has more wins. Hunter has no WrestleMania losses. I hope you realize that.
Okay.
Hunter has the real streak. Paul has lost most of his manias.
Okay. So that's a difference. I got it.
There you go.
Okay, so he looked like $1 million. Like that. How does that dude? They showed a picture. They showed a video of him. No, there's no way. They showed a video of him doing a curl with a curl bar, and like every vein in his arm was like exploding. I was like, "What's up with this dude? He's like 47 years old, and he's got like guns like nobody's business." But anyway,
he's huge, bro. And Kurt Angle, bro. I was popping for those belly to bellies, and I love Kurt Angle, bro. I'm always gonna like that guy. I will never say you suck.
Kurt was great. Hunter was great. And just the idea that they laid out, they didn't lay out a very easy match either. They laid out a match where Ronda had to...
She had to be in the right place at the right time, dude.
She had to have the right facials. She had to have the right timing. And they really trusted her. And, she's a world-class athlete. But she just... I mean, I think there was a throw where maybe she tossed Stephanie a little far.
That's what I was going to say. That was the one part that was awkward about the match, that she threw Stephanie really, really far. When she picked up Hunter for that fucking Samoan drop, bro, I was like, yeah, like, she's not a great worker yet because she only had one match, but she could be.
But you don't want her to be, right? Because she shouldn't be yet. She's so young in the game. Like, she should be a little rough around the edges.
As long as she keeps her demeanor, I think she'll be fine.
Just as an athlete, she's a great athlete. She's a UFC world champion. But in that ring, you really see the difference in athleticism with some folks, and she was amazing. So, okay, so...
Do you think that Snappers McCreepy is going to be the guy who actually trained Stephanie?
Who is that?
Oh, I thought you knew about that.
No.
All right, so Ronda had an ex-boyfriend who she nicknamed Snappers McCreepy. She didn't want to reveal his real name because she might get sued. Who apparently, like, he has like naked pictures of her that she didn't even know he had.
Well, so does the internet, thanks to Sports Illustrated.
Well, I mean, like, more candid ones. And then Rousey apparently said that she slapped. Apparently, like, they had this physical altercation where, like, she slapped him in the face and almost broke her hand. And then, like, he blocked the door. And, like, then, like, he gets in her car. And then she took his hard drive. It was just one of them stories that you hear,
Yeah, whatever. But if they bring Snappers and McCreepy in, that would be like when when they brought the woman who was trying to break up Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella, who turned out to be Chelsea Green, right? It'll be
I don't even remember that storyline.
Goofy like that.
Wasn't it like the chick from TNA?
Yeah, Chelsea Green. Lance Storm trained. She by the way, she's really pretty as well.
Was she at Wale Mania?
She wasn't at Wale Mania, but I've seen her in other places. She's really pretty. Okay, so where do you think they go with Ronda tonight on Raw? Ronda armbarred Steph again. It looks like Steph is got an arm injury, so
I think they're going exactly where we thought, man. I think Steph will be out for a little while. She'll come back with an army. That's what I think. Will the Riot Squad or these supposed tough girls? They're going to be next for Ronda.
Good luck. That's all I got to say.
Hey, we'll see. I mean, I don't think she should. I'll be honest. With the way she performed, I don't think she should be wrestling on free TV.
Me neither. SummerSlam
anytime soon.
Don't wrestle till SummerSlam.
Well, she could do the June pay-per-view, but
she'll be at MSG. She'll be at MSG for sure because they already promoted her at MSG, and that's before SummerSlam. So
yeah, and I think if she should eventually be on Raw. If they do get bought out by Fox, let's just say, or whatever, right? The first Fox Raw, she should be headlining it. That's my opinion.
Absolutely. Now let's go into the next match because I think this relates to what could possibly be on the horizon, which is Charlotte and Asuka. I still think, and I know that on Wrestling
very surprising ending, by the way.
On Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave said that he thinks Charlotte and Sasha may have had a better match than this one. I can't remember that match exactly, so I'm going with this one. I was so impressed with this match.
Loved it.
With not only, I thought, sometimes Charlotte can be a little sloppy. I thought she was really good. I thought she looked great. She's thinned out a little bit. I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily think she needs to be thinner, but go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, what irritates me about the show is that people were saying that, the show started out being one of the greatest Manias ever and then fell off a cliff. I completely disagree with that. Now, I'm going to watch it again. Maybe I need to watch it again on television, see how it came out. But every match, I think what happened was that there were no bad matches on this show. Even the freaking Nicholas thing, even that wasn't even that bad. It was just a fun little thing. There were no really bad matches on here. And, I feel like a lot of these matches are kind of underrated in a way. Bryan and Shane, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Yeah, I had problems, but it was still good. It wasn't bad. And, I actually think this is going to be – I hope that at some point people will go back and watch this show and think, hey, this is a pretty good Mania. Because it was a really good WrestleMania top to bottom. And then the fact that Charlotte and Asuka and Seth and Miz and Finn Balor, first two matches were great. Freaking the four-way was fun too, dude. The first half was definitely stronger than the second half. But it was just – there was nothing bad on here. So I think what happened was – people were expecting Nakamura and AJ to be a New Japan style. They were expecting that to be a 5-star match, right? And I agree, I understand that, but I told you on this freaking podcast that it was not going to be that good.
You said 3 3/4, I think.
And I think it might be just a 3.
Yeah, maybe. I think it's all based on expectation.
Yes, that's totally what it is. You got to stop doing that sometimes.
But the problem is that when you go so long, if you have a match that is expected to be great and doesn't really fit or live up to that expectation, you kind of have a little bit of a lethargic crowd because half of this audience is folks who think they know what's better for WWE than WWE thinks that and that's kind of like us too. We have those thoughts, but we don't then shit on the product when things that we think should happen don't happen. That's really the difference.
Dude, I just couldn't boo that main event because they were working so hard. I mean, yeah, I know 2 moves, I get it, but it was so brutal and it was different. That's the thing, it was different. It couldn't be like AJ Nakamura. It couldn't be like Charlotte and Asuka. It had to be more like a war of attrition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Okay, so Charlotte comes out and they started off with a really great touch in that she comes out to Rick's music, which then morphs into her music. I thought that was a great touch.
I loved that. Where was Rick at? Was he there?
He was there because he was backstage. He took a picture with her that he posted on Twitter today, but I didn't.
Been with her.
He wasn't on the camera.
Man, he was probably crying.
He probably was. Because this is the anniversary of his son passing is somewhere
That's
around
right.
here too.
Is that why she went over?
I don't know. I mean, I think she went over just because they think that Ronda Charlotte is a bigger match than Ronda Asuka.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that because they have a year to build up Asuka. They're going to do it next year for 35. I don't know, but it's too late now. She lost.
So, I just liked the pacing of this match. I liked the way that they both had offense. I liked that Charlotte was Asuka's equal. I like that
the submission stuff was great.
The submission stuff was great. I like the surprise. Here's the thing. Again, I just mentioned, like, a lot of fans get pissed off when what they think should happen doesn't happen. I was like, wow, I really loved that surprise, and it told me that I should have seen it coming because Charlotte is their chosen one. And
also there was a story here. I just want to say that I think a lot of these dumb fucking fat marks don't understand. Okay, the reason why this match went on second is because this was supposed to be, and I know what WWE was trying to do here, but I think people missed this. This is a bait and switch tactic. So Charlotte beats Asuka. Asuka says, you were ready for Asuka, right? Puts her over. Later on, AJ beats Nakamura. People were expecting it to be the same thing, and then Nakamura turns, and that was the whole mentality WWE was doing here. Like, oh, they're doing what Asuka and Charlotte did, because the same idea, U.S. versus Japan, the whole thing. Yeah. And then, but this evil Japanese man could not stand the loss, and then he betrayed AJ. So that's what they were doing here. Like, that's what I'm saying. I hope that people watch this show again in the future and really get what they were going for,
right?
And really get there are stories here, there's ideas here. I'm like a Last Jedi defender for this damn show.
You very much are. Okay, so Charlotte wins with the figure eight. Again, I was totally fine with it because I was like, look, okay, that's who they think is the best.
But who's gonna be Charlotte besides Ronda and Shayna? Who else is gonna beat Charlotte?
I don't know. I think they should have Charlotte continue to win, and I think they should have Ronda continue to win, and maybe that's next year's WrestleMania match, or maybe they do it sooner at SummerSlam. But whatever it is. They got to ride with their person, and they got to go with their person. You got to remember, they didn't even really want Asuka on the main roster. She was just going to be kind of like the NXT gatekeeper. But she's so great. They couldn't, if they didn't see her talent, they would be, blind. But I'm fine with it because Charlotte proved in this match that, she could go. And, the funny thing is, like, you look at Charlotte and Asuka. Asuka's been wrestling for so many more years than Charlotte. So, that was the other thing. And now, can Charlotte carry, or can Charlotte guide Ronda in a match? Like, we'll see. They have some time to sort of figure it out. Supposedly the Ronda Kurt match with Triple H and Stephanie, supposedly they just practiced the hell out of that match out. And
I believe it.
Yeah. So I loved it. I think Charlotte. I haven't felt this strongly about Charlotte since NXT, so I was really happy with that. But was Asuka even on Raw tonight?
No,
I didn't see her. So yeah,
maybe she's going to go to SmackDown.
Yeah, maybe she shows up tomorrow. But then again, they're doing the Superstar Shakeup next week on both shows. So even all the people who debuted on Raw tonight, I imagine some of them are going to eventually end up on SmackDown. So
I would love to speculate that, but we don't have time.
Okay, so let's talk about, since you kind of linked these two matches together, Nakamura and AJ, because I think people were most disappointed in this match because it wasn't the 5-star classic, and this was kind of, I was a little worried about it because when you put a match, you said it. When you put a match on the pedestal,
Lazy Mora.
When you put a match on a pedestal like this, often it's going to disappoint more so than it's going to succeed and reach your expectations. Like, if you set the bar at 5, man, you're only setting up these guys to fail. And
AJ, but the thing is, AJ was going on Twitter, and so was Nakamura, talking about it's going to be a 5-star match. Yeah. Like, AJ said, come on, bro. Like, you don't know unless you get there. What if you get hurt in the middle of the match?
Yeah.
You never know.
No, I get it. I thought the match was good. I didn't think it was great. I liked some of the creativity in the spots. I liked the way that AJ got to the Styles Clash. I loved Nakamura's entrance. That was so amazing.
Me too. No, and it was very New Japan-ish.
But you know what? What's going to happen is what happens every year at WrestleMania when a match disappoints is that they have the better match at Backlash.
Well, that could be the case. And now that Nakamura's a heel, I am more excited because now, our boy Headcase was complaining about like this WWE not seeing anything in Nakamura. And I was like, no, the feud's just beginning.
Yeah.
So, yeah, him as a heel works better because the thing people don't understand is that Nakamura is actually a better heel than a babyface. If you watch that Kota Ibushi match that Jim Ross called, from Wrestle Kingdom 9 or whatever, he was the heel. Even though he wasn't a villain, like he didn't cheat or, he didn't do any of that stuff. Nakamura has always been like a really arrogant wrestler. Like, I'm not saying behind the scenes. I'm saying like his character. He's always been really arrogant. And look at the build-up to this where he's talking about AJ's too emotional. So as a heel, he does work out better. And I think they could have an even better match with him as a heel. I think the idea of Nakamura cheating and doing like dirty things to AJ might make the psychology of the match that much better.
I think you're right, and I think AJ fights much better as a babyface sort of. And that's one of the things is you have the babyface and babyface match. It's often hard to get heat in that kind of match, and that's probably partially what happened in this one as well.
And also the only thing I worry about is I don't know if Nakamura's who he used to be anymore. I mean, he's an older guy now. Obviously, I'm not saying I'm all the jokes about Lazy Mora. He might just not. I hate to say this, but he might just not have it in him anymore.
He's a little older, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying. But he's 38. But people want him to like work New Japan style, and I think people were expecting this to be on New Japan's level, and I think AJ wanted it to be like that. But can Nakamura really knock it out of the park every night? Like, not everybody has like that willingness to do that every single night. You're going to have an off night. It just so happened that with him, it's been about a couple years because really, I didn't even like his Bobby Roode matches, bro. Like, I don't think Nakamura's delivered at all except for the Sami Zayn match. And that one SmackDown, I think a Randy Orton match is pretty good too.
Yeah. So what did you think Okada and Tanahashi thought about the whole thing? Like, those guys work so hard in New Japan.
That's their boy, man.
And they get to see Nakamura wrestle a somewhat, okay match, but Nakamura didn't have to, work his ass off.
And don't forget, AJ worked with those guys too for like 3-4 years, So I think I mean, I don't know those guys personally, so I couldn't tell you. That's a question for Dave. I mean, I would assume that they probably wish they could go in there and do one themselves. That's all I can think of. I don't think they would be – look, I don't think they would be so arrogant to say we can do better because that would be very arrogant. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't know. I don't know these guys.
Okay, so we don't like we said, we're not going to talk about all the matches. I thought
did you want to talk about Undertaker?
Yeah, we're going to get to that one. Seth Rollins, Miz, and Finn Balor, I thought it was really good. I thought it was a great opener. You already talked about Rude, Rusev, Mahal, and Orton. You thought it was fun.
It was good.
So let's actually get to the John Cena and the Undertaker whole shtick.
I told people it was going to be a squash, and that Taker was going to squash him, and I was right again. Put that in the Geek Them Is Right folder.
So do you think that they did it like that because Taker simply can't really have a long match, or like because it was all shtick with Cena and Elias up until the match, and then like you said, it was a squash. So I kind of wonder if that was the plan all along, simply because Taker was like, "Look, man, I cannot do even an 8-minute match."
I disagree because he looked great. I think the hip surgery went well. Dude, he was moving like a damn cruiserweight. I thought he looked great.
But okay, if that is the case, why don't you do a hard-hitting 8 to 10 minute match? Because I think a couple of reasons. Number one, well, 3 reasons. Number one, I think they wanted to once again shock the crowd. I think they were going for shock value this year with Asuka, Nakamura, and Brock winning. Because that's 3, and that's 4 surprises, right? I think that shock value was a big – I really think so. They wanted to fuck with the fans. Same thing with Strowman and Nicholas. Like, that's like 5 surprises. I mean, we knew about Taker, but we didn't know it was going to be a squash. Nobody knew it was going to be a squash except for me. And so he squashes him, right? And I think, again, number 2, they could do a rematch next year where Cena says
this time I'm going to be ready for you.
Taker was playing mind games with him.
Yeah. And then number 3, which I hope they do, which I tweeted about earlier, is they could have a really compelling storyline here where John Cena, for the past several months, has not been able to get the job done. He lost to Roman Reigns. He lost the Royal Rumble, lost the Chamber, lost the Six-Way, Cena, and lost to a retired broke. Because remember,
lost his bachelorhood.
That's the biggest loss if you ask Draven. But so remember the promo he cut on Roman, bro, when he said, you know, you wrestled a guy with an artificial. Remember how he buried Taker in that promo? It's like, well, guess what, bro? Roman beat him, and you lost to him.
Yep.
You lost to a retired 89-year-old Undertaker who looks like Walter White. And and the story could be, do I have it anymore? If they really want to do something
does this
compelling,
mean that you've watched Breaking Bad?
I have. Not all the way through, though. Don't spoil it.
Okay.
I love that show, by the way. I didn't think I was going to love it as much as I did. I didn't realize it was a dark comedy until I started watching. I was like, wow, this is a dark comedy. And Draven's like, yeah. And I'm over here thinking it was like a more of like an actual serious show, like The Wire, like Lost. It's like, no, it's a dark comedy. Like, yeah. Oh, I get it. But anyways, so I'm just saying, like, if they really want to do some good, compelling storylines, which I don't know if they're going to do this or not, because they're almost afraid. I feel like when Cena was the top guy, they were afraid to do this kind of thing. But now that he's not top guy anymore, they could do it where he questions himself. You and I talked about this in 2009, them doing this storyline with Jack Swagger. Like, he won.
How do you even remember that?
Because that was a great idea, and I remember all my great ideas never happened. And again, with Wade Barrett, like, they could have done it to where Cena does it. He's questioning himself. Like, I can't beat Roman Reigns. Fine. He's a tough guy. I can't win the Rumble. 30 guys. I get it. Six-way. But I can't beat this old Undertaker guy. Like, he's the Undertaker, but he's old. Like, why can't I beat this dude? And then you have an interesting storyline you could build up to either a 17th title reign or just, just him kind of, just him, I guess, coming back and having and eventually winning.
Well, I will say Cock Blockers did about $21 million this weekend, and I will probably see it sometime this week. I don't know exactly when, but
I'm really happy you called it Cock Blockers.
That's what the movie's called.
I know, but nobody wants to call it that. It's like with Chronic 2001, how people kept calling it 2001, even though the Chronic leaf is on the CD cover. It's like, no, bro, it's Chronic 2001, Dr. Dre, you idiot. The sequel to the first album, and freaking 2001. No, it's Cock Blockers. Yes, I appreciate you calling it Cock Blockers.
Do you think? What do you think Rock's movie is going to do next week? Rampage. Which movie do you think does the most box office?
Boy, that's going to be a dick measuring contest. I think Rampage will win, bro. I think nothing can stop Dwayne right now. Dwayne is on fire, bro. And I'm not going to lie, seeing him in that Paige movie promo popped me because he brought out all the 1999, 2000 freaking Dwayne jokes. We haven't heard those in years, bro. He even said, shine it up real nice. When was the last time we heard him say that, bro?
I don't know. I think he just won the Wrestling Observer Promo of the Year, though.
Already?
Just off of that movie alone.
Samoa Joe on Raw might have won the freaking Promo of the Year, bro. I don't know, man.
Okay, so quickly, Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. We don't really need to talk too much about that match.
I'm not like most girls.
You mentioned Cesaro and Sheamus and Strowman and Nicholas. The only thing I'll say is I hated the shit out of it, and then you told me that the crowd loved it, so I'm like, well, what can I say?
They did love it, yes. I hated it too, though, but I didn't hate it like it was a bad match. It was like just a little. It was bad for Cesaro and Sheamus, but they're going to get those belt backs, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Are they going to be able to beat the great team of Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt?
I don't know, but Brother Nero's back in. I hope they have a stable, bro. Please give me a stable of like the misfit toys. But yeah, I actually really want Matt Hardy and Brother Nero or Brother Bray to win this freaking thing. Yeah. Anyways,
okay, and
I look forward to it.
The only other match we didn't talk about was the Bludgeon Brothers squash, which
that's the match. People buried that match. Yeah, I thought it was okay.
It was okay. I mean, I sort of expected that to happen. I'm kind of a little bit bothered. Not bothered, but the Usos, the whole story was, we're finally going to get our WrestleMania match. That was it.
Yeah, good for them.
So the only other match that I wanted to talk about was the Daniel Bryan, Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, because what did you think about the psychology of this match? Because I think the way that the match built,
I knew what they were going for.
It should have worked. It should have worked a little bit better than it did, but it just did not work for this crowd.
Well, I blame Shane McMahon's punches, bro. What about the fact that Ronda's punches look more realistic than Shane's, but yet for some reason I just don't believe that Triple H take that many Ronda Rousey punches. Look, I've said before on this show that I could whoop Ronda Rousey's ass.
Did you tell Travis Browne that though?
I should have. Fuck, man. I should have told him that. He would have kicked me in the face, though. See, I don't know about whooping his ass, but then again, he's lost 4 fights, bro, so he's already a broken man. So maybe I'm not broken yet, bro.
Did he lose a fight to Alicia Fox, though?
Okay, so all right, all I'm going to say is this. Okay? I was told that she was very inebriated Saturday night. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying she got sent home for that reason. Ryan Satan reported that. I'm not saying that. But I did get confirmation from someone that she was hammered Saturday night. And the thing is, you don't want to do that on WrestleMania weekend, man. You just don't want to. You got to be responsible.
Here's the dumb part, okay? Travis Browne is not going to do anything to Alicia Fox. But who is Travis Browne married to?
That was the joke that was made.
Oh, my God.
Right?
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Ronda's a black belt in judo, so if Ronda, breaks her arm, she can get arrested as, a lethal weapon or something right?
I guess.
Well, unfortunately, Victoria Crawford got sent home, and that's too bad. You think she was supposed to win this thing and then said they gave it to Naomi?
I don't think she was I don't think she was cleared to be in the match. That's what a lot of people have reported, is that she's still hurt from when she got injured practicing the Royal Rumble.
That's right. Okay. Well, there you go.
Okay, so back to Bryan. So you're blaming the whole lack of heat, at least early on Shane.
Well, I just think that, okay, you and I talked about it. I think that I get the idea, but it's not what the crowd wanted.
Right.
I don't think the crowd wanted that. I think the crowd wanted Daniel to go in there and wrestle with Owens and Zayn and really do a lot of that classic Bryan Danielson wrestling. I think they wanted that, and I think they got it too late in the match. I mean, again, I know what they were going for because that's classic, babyface heat. I just think that it was – again, I respect them for trying different things on this card because the card had a lot of variety. I just feel like the crowd just didn't want this. They wanted him to go out there. I feel like, okay, the match was 15 minutes. They could have shaved it down to about 7, and people would have been happier and just had Daniel Bryan go in there and just work his ass off.
What do you think about Owens and Zayn losing the match and then having to show up on Raw tonight?
I love that idea. And then they got counted out. And I don't know what they're going to do to run it back in, but they're going to probably go to Raw. I mean, I just like, what I would like, Bray and Matt win the tag belt, and then you have Bray and Matt against Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. That'd be great, dude. I would actually enjoy that feud, as weird as it sounds.
Okay, so did you notice any of the changes in Daniel Bryan's style?
I didn't.
So there was only I noticed. So okay, so what does Morrow call the move where Daniel dives between the top rope and the second rope?
Tope.
Okay, the tope. I guess that's what everyone calls it, not just Morrow. I always call it the dive between the top.
Morrow, look, all right, let me just say something about Morrow. Morrow.
You're going to cut a promo on Morrow?
I am. Look.
Oh, man.
I've been a fan of Mauro Ranallo for 13 years, since Pride Fighting Championships. He was amazing in Pride. He's kind of long in the tooth right now.
You think?
Dude, comparing the fucking North American ladder match to the Infinity War, bro. All right. I'm watching it and I'm like, you are comparing.
I didn't even catch that.
Dude, I texted my friend about how I was so offended. You're comparing Ricochet, who I respect, who was the highlight of that whole show until the main event, I get it. Ricochet's awesome. You're comparing him to Thanos, the Lord and Master of Space and Time, who decapitated Galactus. Are you serious?
I like that this is what offends you.
He's out of his mind, bro. I think he's actually lost his mind.
Oh, man. Poor Morrow.
JBL must have beat him in the head against the locker too many times, bro. I'm sorry.
I think he tries to stay current, maybe a little too current, to use a lot of. Sometimes his music references are pretty interesting to me, but hey, he tries.
So you agree that he's a little long in the tooth, then?
I don't think he's long in the tooth. I think he's trying to stay almost too relevant. Sort of like the anti-Jim Ross, right? Because Jim Ross's whole thing is he doesn't give a shit if he's relevant or not. He's just going to call
well, you see, match. Dave, in America, we call it a frog splash. But in Japan, they call it the Flow 5-5. And then Dave's like, high fly flow. Whatever. What about when he told Maria? This was a KLB story. When he told Maria and Mike Bennett, "Oh, you guys think you're gonna last, huh? I'm on my third marriage. You guys think you're gonna last? Oh, you know what? You probably will." He straight up told them they think they're gonna get divorced, bro.
Oh man.
That means that all the stories that we heard from Tom Zenk about him were true, bro. It's all true.
Okay, so if you were to give your live experience of WrestleMania, now you've been to 3-4 live Manias?
This is my 5th one.
Oh, 5th. Okay.
24, 28.
So rank them. I want to see where you would rank this one.
What do you mean? You mean like quality, or as far as like live experience?
What you thought was the best and what you thought was the worst?
Live or just overall show?
I mean, you were there live. It's not about watching it on TV.
I think 30 was amazing. That was one of the best WrestleManias ever. 30. That's number 1. I would say number 2 is probably 34. I would say no. Number 2 is 24 because you had the best Money in the Bank ever. You had Edge Taker. You had Ric Flair retiring. You had that awesome 3-way. So you know what? And you have Floyd Mayweather. So I would say 30, then 24, then 34, then 33, then 28, which is funny because 28 had The Rock and Cena, but that show just doesn't age very well. Like it's not a bad show, it just does not age too well. Like when you watch it now, it's like, okay, Rock and Cena was good, but it was okay. It was Jericho and Punk was also like problematic, and we broke that down on 30 for 30 already, so.
Yes. So, and you can find all those 30 for 30s on the Fight Game podcast.
Thank God you archived them, brother.
I did. I have them. Okay, so that's WrestleMania. I think this, at least on TV, it was very similar to 33, which was I was fired up in the first half of the show, thinking it was going to be one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, and then the second half. A lot of it was the crowd. A lot of it was just stuff that didn't work. I didn't hate the show. I liked the show. I just didn't like it as much as I thought I was after that great first half. But that's what I felt about last year, too. So some of it might be this 7-hour thing. Maybe they need to split it up into 2 days or whatever. But,
It was long. It was long, but I felt good. Like, I felt like last year was longer, even though it probably wasn't. 33 just felt like it went on forever.
Well, what did Mike Daniels think?
He loved it too. We talked today before I hop on the flight. He loved the show. Like the show was awesome live, dude. It was awesome. But also we had great seats. We were surrounded by great people. I got to meet his family or his wife or whatever. I didn't meet his whole family. I got to meet Lawrence Guy's family, his wife and his daughter. She brought her daughter to the show. So it was just, it was great. It really was. And ultimately it was a great show. I mean, it wasn't as good as 30, because 30 had awesome, 30 had Daniel Bryan in the 3-way and the Daniel Bryan Triple H match, by the way, did you see that stat about how Triple H's matches for the past 8 WrestleManias have been the longest ones in all of WrestleMania? I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
Yeah, he did.
Wait, but is that Hunter or is that Paul?
It depends on the year. Hunter and Paul both have long matches. It just depends on who's the harder worker. I think Paul works the harder than Hunter, in my opinion. But that being said, yeah, I love the show. And again, again, like when I left the movie theater for Last Jedi, but backwards, like people didn't like the main event. Okay, here's the ultimate question. What did La Rocca think about the main event?
You know what? La Rocca has not watched it yet.
Oh, man. I would love to hear his thoughts because he books a lot of big, strong guys. So I figured that that's right up his alley. But the thing is, what pisses me off is what were they expecting? Like, Roman Lesnar, yes, that's the kind of match they have. Would I like them to have more moves? Sure.
Did you want them to do? Did you want them to do
fun of me over it?
Some chain wrestling?
I don't know about that, but I did. Why didn't Brock bust out the Kimura? Like, we didn't see that. Like, somebody told me the other day that Brock from 2012, 2014 was awesome, and then from 2015 to now isn't. And I can't disagree with that. He has been declining as far as match quality goes. And I don't know if it's his fault or if it's the agents telling him to change his style. But I feel like before, when he was doing the Kimura and all these different things, it was just better. Like, CM Punk match, the Cena match, Triple H match, they were all pretty good. They were all pretty good. Then, like, the Big Show match was, like, whatever. Like, I don't even know why they even bothered. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I liked it. I really did.
Okay, let's quickly wrap up some of the stuff that happened on Raw, just because it happened and we should probably talk about it. But we should end this because we're already at, like, an hour 30. Okay, so Raw debuts tonight. We mentioned Blaster Lashley.
Yes, indeed. He suplexed, what's this guy's name? Elias. I thought he was going to be in a main event program, bro.
He may be. Maybe.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe they move Elias to SmackDown. You're right. You're right about that.
Yeah. Elias is great, except
in the ring
once the bell rings, and then it's a little bit of a different story. But so I forgot who I was talking to at Mania weekend, but they were saying that. Oh, I know who it was.
By the way, real quick question: have you seen the Hall of Fame?
No, I did not.
All right. With all due respect, I respect all those guys.
The worst Hall of Fame ever. Hillbilly Jim.
Skip it. The thing is, I feel so guilty because Ivory was awesome. Jeff Jarrett's awesome. Goldberg was even really inspirational, but it was the worst Hall of Fame ever.
That's too bad. That's too bad. I know who I was talking to. Your boy, Pat LaPrade.
Oh, man. Well, I can't wait for him to call back in. It was a pleasure to meet you, and I'm going to write a book about the weekend.
He said that I think he was talking about the Honky Tonk Man. Something about.
Did you meet Hoovy, by the way?
I did not meet Hoovy. There wasn't any luchadors, I don't think, at
That's
Wale
too
Mania.
bad. Oh man, what happened to Court Bauer, bro? I thought he was all in with those guys.
I don't know. Anyway, Pat LaPrade was talking about. I think the Honky Tonk Man, something like, Honky Tonk Man was basically like, you have to come to this, but maybe he broke even or whatever, like, and so I basically said, well, that's what happens when Elias steals your gimmick. Elias is technically kind of like the new Honky Tonk Man, right?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, but Honky Tonk Man was more of a cartoon character. I think Elias is becoming less and less like him. Yeah. For sure. But yeah, Elias could move to SmackDown. Or, I actually like his act. His act is good. It gets heat. But when he's the fall guy for John Cena and Blaster Lashley on 2 shows in a row, that probably tells you about where he's slotted. I would agree with that. Then we had the Authors of Pain.
Authors of Pain.
I'm so disappointed. Why did they get rid of Precious Paul? Bro, you got Heyman there. Precious Paul is a great fucking promo. Why did they get rid of Precious Paul, bro? I'm mad. I'm actually mad about it. Yeah, whatever. No Way Jose, who I imagine will be main eventing WWE main event fairly soon. I totally agree with you. That's another one of those Adam Rose guys. It works in NXT. Does not work on the main roster. Look, I like him. I was just going to say, we should also discuss briefly the worst turn in the history of the business. Roderick Strong turning heel on NXT was the stupidest. Because somebody texted me and they're like, It was a great turn. And I was behind on my stream. And I said, this is the stupidest fucking turn I've ever seen. His partner's about to win the titles. He turns on him, and then Mauro Ranallo, the rocket scientist, Mauro Ranallo, was like, he did it because he wanted to be a champion. But his partner had the guy pinned. It was fucking dumb. Sorry, but Paul did not do a good job booking that. I'm sorry, it was bad.
I imagine you even if you don't watch every week, you're in the know about the storylines for NXT. It felt to me like this was like one of those long storylines that they do, but like you kind of forget about like how it started, so it didn't really have the impact that it should have had. Because
I don't remember there being any heat between Roddy and Pete Dunne.
Well, not between Roddy and Pete Dunne, but originally those guys had asked Roddy to be a part of their group, and he turned them down. So I think that's where it stems from.
But what's his motivation? Why would he suddenly join them when his partner was about to win titles? It's dumb.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that part. I think he's kind of like the
dumbass. He's a dumbass.
You know, he's kind of like the gatekeeper of NXT. He like gets to a certain level and he just hasn't won the big one, so now he's with the cool group. Like they're going to help him get to that next level. I think that's what it is.
You do realize I have seen more Roderick Strong main events than any other wrestler in my life.
FIP.
You know that, right? Huh?
FIP?
That's right. He was the champion of FIP for like 2 years, and I watched him main event every single month. Every month.
You know, you know this, but I hung out with that guy for like an entire night.
Well, he's part of the fucking, what's the name of the damn Belton? Team Biggity? He's a Team Biggity guy, or he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's my age. He's from my town. You know, I guess he's a bigger star than me, but I don't know. It depends on who you ask. But no, that being said, he's
not bigger than you if you talk about the guy who said that Ronda pointed to you instead of her own husband.
No, that guy was smart, bro. I mean, but Travis Browne's so much bigger than a lot of people. He's a huge guy, bro. By the way, have you seen Lawrence Guy, bro? Lawrence Guy looks just like Braun Strowman, except not as like ripped.
No, I don't even know who that is.
That's the from the Packers, man. The guy who I hung out with.
Well, I thought you said he was from the Patriots.
No, that's Mike Daniels. I hung out with the Packers and the Patriots. Lawrence Guy. Google him. He looks just like Braun Strowman.
Wait, hold on. I think now you're mixing up your guys. I thought your boy Daniels was from the Packers.
He is.
Okay, so then
Mike Daniels plays for the Green Bay Packers. Lawrence Guy plays for the New England Patriots.
Okay,
and Vinnie Curry played for the Philadelphia Eagles, the champion Philadelphia Eagles, but he got moved to the Buccaneers. Sorry, Vinny.
Okay, Lawrence Guy, defensive end for the Patriots. Okay, got it.
Look at his picture though. He looks exactly like Braun Strowman.
Yeah, he does look a little bit like Braun Strowman. Wait, was he the guy? So, because you were on that video of what, the Undisputed? Was it Undisputed?
That's the LeBron James. Yeah, he was on there because Undisputed told him to do like videos that night for some reason. I wasn't part of that deal. That's called Uninterrupted, by the way. Not
Uninterrupted. That's what it was. Not Undisputed.
Yeah, but Undisputed is like wasn't that a TV show or
no? I think it's
but the Contender was a TV show.
Yeah, it's an ESPN. Undisputed is an ESPN website. But okay, so Lawrence Guy, so people can actually look this up. He did like a 1-minute video about WrestleMania.
That's
and
right.
You were on it. You had one line and you didn't screw it up. Unlike
WrestleMania.
Unlike the Dave Bautista video.
Yes, that is correct. Unlike the Dave Bautista video. that is correct. See, now that I'm in with these guys, though, maybe Batista will invite me over to his house for some cookies and shit. You know, it's funny. I told people that he lived right next to me, and people don't believe me. And there's the evidence. Like I could walk to his house right now.
Bro, if Batista is inviting you over, he's not inviting you over for cookies. I
like how you said you're like, if you want to hang out with him, you're gonna have to go out and like, you know, hang out with a bunch of hot girls. And I was like, I'm fine with that. Well, I guess I'm fine with it. I don't know if I can hang with Dave Bautista, even though he's like 46 years old, bro. I don't know if I can hang with him, but
no, man. No.
Yeah, I have to oil up my nipples, bro, like Randy Orton did. You know, that was the line that you said, bro. That Randy Orton took more time oiling up his nipples than Daniel Bryan and Sheamus at WrestleMania 2028, bro. You know, and it's true.
Oh man. Okay, back quickly. Ember Moon also debuted. She tag teamed with Nia Jax tonight. She actually hit her finisher on Alexa. She looked good.
It was about time.
She looked good.
What did you think about her and Shayna Baszler? I can never say her. Now it's Baszler.
Shayna Baszler. The match was good. It wasn't great, but I thought the psychology in the match was excellent.
Yep. Totally great story. That's what made NXT great. Every match told a different story.
Yeah,
I cannot believe they put freaking Aleister Black over. I think that Andrade Cien Almas is coming up.
I love Andrade Cien Almas is my favorite NXT superstar ever.
It's hard to not agree with you on that. I mean,
love that guy.
My favorite was Roderick Strong until that dumb turn. No, I think my favorite is Ricochet, but that's because of his stuff before.
I mean, he's gonna be a humongous star.
I hope it doesn't get stuck on 205 Live, bro. I think that irritate the fuck out of me. What about the fact that they said that? Okay, another Mauro Ranallo classic, bro. They said that Ethan Carter III, EC3, is from a rich family, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense because remember in the canon world of wrestling, Ethan Carter in TNA canon is Dixie Carter's nephew.
Yep,
that was the storyline. Then they're like, oh, he's from a family of rich family that owns restaurants, and I'm like, what? Couldn't they have said if they didn't want to say Dixie Carter, couldn't they have said a rich family or one that owns an electric company or something? I was like, what? So why even call him Ethan Carter if he's not going to be the Carter?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're.
Ronaldo's trash, bro.
He was. I mean, that's not his line, right? That's something that was written that he had to say.
I don't know if it was.
All right, so the other thing that happened on Raw, Paige retired, which was pretty sad. Though we know, anyone who knows her story knows that she is not physically able to continue competing. I really wonder what she's going to do. It kind of sucks when your whole life is wrestling and now you can't wrestle anymore.
I hate to bring this up, but I mean that did suck. But you know what I'm about to ask you? Yes. What happened to our boy Al Rodriguez, bro? Because he no-showed TNA, and then there was conflicting stories that he was sick, and then somebody else he was drunk off his ass and puked all night.
I don't know if he was drunk, but I think he has some similarities with Conor McGregor.
Oh, well, that was the real story of the weekend, but we don't have time to talk about that. I just want to say this. Look, as everybody knows, I had a man crush on Al Rodriguez for years. The last 3 years of his life have been very rough, and I feel like he's kind of – I mean, I'm not going to say I lost respect for him, but he's been on the decline. You know what I'm saying? Big time.
Yeah. I mean, he probably has a bit of a problem.
When I heard that he was supposedly drinking – and that's why he no-showed, I was like, there's no way WWE's going to sign that guy. Here's the thing, folks, for those of you out there who don't know. New Orleans is Louisiana, I think it's Louisiana, one of the only states that has 24-hour open bars, and you're allowed to drink on the streets. Most places, you can't drink walking on the sidewalk, but in New Orleans, you can. So they encourage you to get drunk, and it's one of those things where if you're an athlete, you have to resist the temptation, dude.
I don't know that world, but I can.
I don't drink either, bro. I don't drink either.
Well, no, I mean I drink, but I just don't. I don't do it to. I don't. I'm not someone who does stuff to excess. So.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. I don't know what else to tell you.
All right, so last thing, I guess, we kind of talked about it. The greatest Royal Rumble show in Saudi Arabia is happening in a couple weeks. We're both going to try to watch it. It looks like a pretty big show. It's an odd one, but
they're calling it the greatest Royal Rumble. Does that mean that the other one wasn't that great? That's a weird name for a pay-per-view, dude.
And
they have the Christmas colors, and it's April.
You've done the math, which is normal Royal Rumbles are 30 men. They had one 40-man Royal Rumble. So of course, if you do the greatest Royal Rumble, it has to be 50 guys.
It's just weird that they're doing another Rumble, and it's only been 3 months.
So who are they adding to this match? I mean, it's going to be both Raw and SmackDown, but do they got to add NXT guys?
They have to. And here's the thing: every title, or those 7 titles are going to be on the line. Universal title. They're doing a ladder match. Joe, Finn Balor, Miz, and Seth Rollins. That could be awesome.
I think that would be great.
We know the U.S. title, the SmackDown tag titles, the Cruiserweight title, the Raw tag titles, and the WWE title is going to be on the line, and Cena and Triple H. So really, it is looking like it could end up being like the second or third biggest show of the year. And I think it's in that King Abdullah International Stadium. I don't know if you know about that stadium, but it's big. Like, it's a 62,000 seat stadium, but that's without the bottom part, like the I guess the floor or whatever. So it could be another. So they could have, like, this is crazy. If you take WrestleMania and this show, they could have like 150,000 people or whatever, 120,000 within like the same month. 2 shows. You know what I'm saying?
That's kind of crazy. Now I'm looking at the King Abdullah Stadium that you're saying. Yeah,
it's beautiful.
So
bro.
Capacity is 62,241, and it looks like that's maybe for soccer. So yeah, maybe they can get more people. And so I think legit they probably had 65,000 people in New Orleans last night.
120K in a month and 2 shows, and that's I guess they really want to make this a big deal. It's like that one Australian show they had where it was Brock, Triple H, and Rock from like 2002. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, it was like Rebellion, I think it was, and they had it in that big stadium. Yeah. Anyways, it's going to be like a WrestleMania.
Wasn't Hogan supposed to be on that show?
Hogan was, and then he didn't. Was he on that show? He was. I don't remember, bro. Honestly, Rebellion 2002 was it the show? Let me look real quick. Hold on. Rebellion 2002. No, that's a different show.
Oh, okay.
Rebellion 02 was Lesnar and Heyman against Edge in a handicap match. I have no memory. What the fuck was the name of the show in Australia, dude?
I don't know.
It had a different name. Hold on. Don't go anywhere. Brock Lesnar versus The Rock versus Triple H. Global Warning. Okay. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Global Warning 2002. Yeah, yep. Okay. Sorry. I got it now. Colonial Stadium in Melbourne.
All right. I think we're about tapped out. You just have to get some sleep. I have to get some sleep. What a long, crazy, but fun weekend we all just had.
You're going to think I'm a pussy, but this was actually my first time ever flying alone.
I knew that. And I thought you would have some anxiety about it.
I did, but once I figured out that luckily every airport has arrows pointing to where you want to go, it's fine. and boy, that New Orleans airport, bro, not very impressed. They're building a new one, though. So
Yeah. All right, so that is it for the Road to WrestleMania series for 2018. If we do it again next year, it'll be probably the same sort of collaboration between the Fight Game Podcast and World of Geekdom, which I think has worked out very well for us this year. But for the last time, this is Double G for Big D. We'll see you when we see you. Peace out.
Bye.